Hi there, it's Savvy Steve, bringing you another exciting Max Business Workshop to help you be successful in your business. If you're already out there making a difference and living the dream, or if you're working through the program still, planning your future business to help you make sure that you make great decisions going forward. Today's workshop is actually titled Investing in Good Advice. So hopefully today I'm going to give you some really good advice that I know through first-hand experience, but also advice that I know makes very sound business sense. And you can see from the slide in front of you, good advice means that you'll have dollars, whereas bad advice means you'll have a broken piggy bank. You won't have any money in your piggy bank, and that's probably a really simplistic way of looking at it, but a really good one. And you'll note that I'm using the term investing. I'm not saying spending money on good advice, because when we think of the concept of spending, we don't think of it in the context of necessarily getting a return on that expenditure in the same way as we do when we invest in something. When we invest in something, we expect to get a return for that investment. So when you're thinking about getting advice or to help you make better decisions in your business or to chart the right path, think of it as an investment in your future success, rather than just an expense that I acknowledge is always painful. Writing a check out, or as we used to in the old days, or making a payment, it's always painful when you have to do that. But think of it as an investment that will give you long-term benefits or long-term returns. So moving on, there's a quote here from Anthony Robbins, and we talk a lot about this in the program. The quality of your life is reflective of the quality of your relationship. So the quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of the people in it. Surround yourself with people who want to see you grow. And that's true in just so many different aspects. It's true in terms of your personal life. It's true in terms of your professional life. It's true in terms of the people that you have around you in business. It's also true of your clients. Your clients should add value to you, and if your clients aren't the right sort of people for you, well, move them on. And that's perhaps a topic for another session at some future date. But in this context, we're talking about the people that you have around you to give you advice. And in the context of the program, we call that, in the wider sense, your business mastermind group. The people that you can lean on at different times and for different things in your business career and your business journey to help you make good decisions, to help you take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves when they present themselves, and as a result, get the best possible outcomes. So, why would you pay for good advice? Why would you spend the money on good advice? And I suppose the simple answer to that is, if you don't pay for advice, you'll pay for the mistakes that you make. Now, often the mistakes that you make as a consequence of not seeking some advice can be far more substantial and far more catastrophic in financial terms, and in other terms, not just financial terms, but in terms of the impact on your business, than the cost or the investment that you would have incurred in reaching out to someone within your circle of influence, to reaching out to the right person, be it your mentor, be it your lawyer, be it your accountant, or whatever the case may be, just for a little bit of advice as to how to approach a particular situation, how to deal with a particular set of circumstances, and to understand the options that you faced or had available to you and the consequences and benefits of each one. So being unwilling to invest in good advice will often cost you more. And so the simple question, why pay for good advice, is because if you don't, you can expect to pay for your mistakes. Okay. So let's answer the next question. How much should you invest in that advice? Well, that's an interesting question, but and I suppose being blunt, do I have to spell it out to you? nice little picture there. And the simple answer is whatever it takes. And it has to be relative to the circumstances or to the matter or the opportunity or situation you're taking advice on. And so when I say whatever it takes, I'm assuming that you're applying some thought process and due diligence, if you like, around the need for the advice, how important, how significant it is. And it may be that you only have to spend a few $100s with your accountant or your lawyer, but it might be because the opportunity or the challenge that you face is so significant that figure might be several $1,000s. But the upside of getting the advice is so significant, or the downside or the risk of not getting that advice is so significant that you'd be foolish not to spend that money. And again, I recognize that sometimes you don't want to spend that money because you worked hard for it, or alternatively, you don't simply have the money to spend. Well, in that case, it's not a reason not to do it. It's a reason to find a way to do it. If you need to find a way to find them, if you need to find the money, find a way to find it. Because the consequences of not doing it might be far, far greater than the challenge of finding that money in the first place. So, be willing to invest whatever it takes to get the advice that you need in order to make the decision, but obviously be sensible about it and understand how important it is. And the more important it is, obviously, the more you need to invest to ensure that you get the best advice to make the best decisions. So let's think about it, in this context, let's practice what you preach, and in that context, we might ask our clients to invest $60 or $70 or more, in fact, but let's say $60 or $70 a week in personal training sessions with us. That equates to nearly $2,900, $3,400 per annum. So you're expecting your clients to invest in you to give them good advice and service so that they can have the best health and fitness and well-being outcomes from their training. And you expect them to do that because you are worth it. You know that you can add value far beyond that investment, far beyond that $2,900 or that $3,400 investment. And on that basis, is it not reasonable for you to expect that you have to pay a fitness professional, an advisor, a business mentor, a coach, or someone of that nature money to provide you good advice so that you get the same sort of outcomes that in a business sense, in a fit business sense, and a fit healthy business sense, in the same way that you would expect your clients to invest in you so that they can have a fit, strong body? And I think if you sat back and thought about it, the answer to that question would be absolutely yes. So maybe we need to practice a little bit more about what we preach in that context in order to ensure that we do in fact have a safe and successful business. So let's look at the concept investing to save. And I don't want to get too technical here, but let's say you were to invest $2,000 in your accountant each year, okay? And we go, oh, that's a lot of money, But at the end of the day, the actual after-tax cost of that investment, and this is getting a little bit technical, is only $1,440 because you get a tax saving as a consequence of the money that you've invested in your account. So it doesn't really cost you $2,000 in cash terms. It costs you $1,440 in cash terms because you end up paying less income tax. But in order to recover that investment, in order to recover the $1,440 of cash that you actually outlaid, your accountant only has to help you find tax savings or expense deductions that are equivalent to $5,143 that you were not available to you. Okay, and I can tell you from experience that that is absolutely and totally very achievable. Most people do not realize how many additional tax deductions or benefits may be available to them in their business, and as a result, they don't necessarily search them, and they don't necessarily have a relationship with their accountant, or they don't invest in their accountant sufficiently for their accountant to take advantage of that. Now, if you look at that, if that was the outcome, your accountant, if your accountant achieved that in the first year, your investment in that first year was zero. If your accountant found you those extra tax deductions or tax savings, the ultimate outcome was that you didn't cost you anything. But it also means that you'd have fantastically up-to-date financial accounts, and you would be able to take advantage of those same deductions and those same benefits next year and the year after and the year after that, and they wouldn't cost you anything because you've done them previously and you know you have to do it on an ongoing basis. So you get the money back in the first year on that investment, and you get to take advantage of it in future years. But naturally, you'll invest a little bit of money in your account in those future years so that they can take advantage of new or different or more tax deductions that come along as a consequences of changes in your business, or as a consequence of changes in the income tax legislation, and that happens from time to time, both in New Zealand and in Australia. So there's an example where it's important to invest money to in fact save money. Okay. And again, let's say you were to invest $1,000 with your lawyer to help you review your lease, or to review a contract that you were going to sign, where you were going to be a personal trainer working in someone else's gym, health club, either as an employer or a contractor, or you were going to work in someone else's studio. Okay, the after-tax cost of that to you, because the $100,000 will be a tax deductible cost, would only be $720. Okay, so in order to recover the investment that you made in the lawyer, all your lawyer has to do is help prevent you from making a really big mistake in the lease that you sign, i.e. stop you agreeing to silly rent reviews or silly lease renewal terms, or agreeing to pay overhead charges that you didn't understand that you had to pay, or to ensure that you've got the rights to put up some signage that you assumed you had the right to do, but the lease didn't actually say initially that it did, or that you were going to agree to certain terms and conditions as an employee or as a contractor in someone else's studio that were restrictive, or were not going to allow you to conduct your business in the way that you wanted to. The advice that you got from your lawyer for that small investment would save you an awful, or could potentially save you an awful lot of money, or an awful lot of difficulty in terms of running your business at a future date. And so, you know, if you look at it that sense, your lawyer could have saved you thousands of dollars, or in fact could have even saved your business. Okay. And I love this quote: if you think it's expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur, or wait until you do nothing. Okay. Now, again, yeah, we have to pay $1,000. We don't want to pay $1,000. We'd rather keep it for ourselves, and you know, and we'd maybe buy another piece of equipment or buy some new clothes or whatever. But no, invest that money in getting good advice, so you don't end up signing something or agreeing something that's got really sharp hooks all through it, and at some point in time in the future you'll regret it. And I know from experience, we've dealt with students in the past, or tried to help students out of situations where they have signed lease agreements, or they have entered into arrangements of to act as, you know, contract personal trainers, where the terms of those agreements have been restrictive and have placed them in very difficult positions down the track, with increased costs, or restraints of trade, or inability to, you know, to do certain things, or that they want to do in order to move their business forward. So again, another great example of why it's really important to invest in good advice. So who does this apply to? Well, you know, we've touched on, firstly, obviously touched on your accountant, and your lawyer, two really important parts of your business mastermind group, but it also equally applies to your business coach or your mentor. It applies to the insurance broker. Now, the insurance broker is like a mortgage broker. They help you find the insurance you need to insure your business and to insure yourself personally, so that you have good insurance in place to protect yourself, and they understand your needs, your insurance needs, and they get you what you need rather than what someone just thinks you need. And there's a small investment in that. It might be the person that you talk to about investments, and where to put the money from the success of your business, where to put the profits. It might be you pay for a valuer, to do a valuation of your business, or to do a value of the rent that for the premises that you're considering and renting to start your personal training studio, because you want to be sure that the rent that you pay is a fair market rental. Just because the landlord's asking something for it doesn't mean it's a fair market rental. But how would you know? You need to get some expert advice. Your educator, e.g. Max, your life coach, your tech guru, the person that helps you with the technology stuff. At the end of the day, good advice costs money. And and sometimes you can get good advice or great advice even, and there is no cost because it's provided as part of the service. Your tech guy might give you great advice if you buy your computer from him. But sometimes you need to get independent advice so that you can make better decisions. And so in that part, that's about part of developing your business mastermind group and thinking about who's in your dream team, so to speak, and be happy when the time is right to invest in them, and don't just expect them to provide you everything for nothing, because that's just not realistic in this day and age. Okay, and how do you find these people? Well, great question. Ask. Ask people that you know, ask people that you like, ask people that you respect, ask people that you know are running a successful business. Ask them, who do you, hey, I respect what you've done. Who would you advise me to talk to about this? Have you got any names you can give me, etc., etc. Seek and you shall find. There's that fantastic thing called Google. Get out there and do some research, do some reading, read the reviews. That's called basic research. And I love that website called getoffyourlazyass.com. At the end of the day, seek and you shall find. Everyone has had this challenge, but these people aren't just going to fall out of the sky and into your lap and say, hey, I've come along to help you. You have to go looking for them. And it's not that hard. And meet these people, talk to these people, and if they're not the right people, then move on to the next one. You want to bring them into your circle of influence, not only because they're competent and professional, but also because you connect with them, and they show an interest in you and what you're doing, and you feel that the investment you're going to make in them is worthwhile, because they've obviously got the technical expertise, but they've also got showing an interest in helping you to be successful, which is really important. Comes back to that circle of influence. And finally, I love this picture. It's speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. The people with the best advice are usually the ones who have been through the most. In Kerry and Roy and myself, you've certainly got three people that have been through an awful lot over the years, just through to share experience. But we're part of your education mentoring process more than we are, in terms of your future business influence. So you need to find that wider circle of influence, and those people that will go on the journey with you, through the rest of your business career, which could be, in some cases, could be 30, 40, 50 years, depending on how old you are now. But we're always here to help and keen to share some of our wisdom, if we can. But the greatest failure of all is the failure to act when action is needed. If you need help, you need to seek help. And sometimes that help needs to come from specialist people with specialist knowledge, with specialist qualifications, with experience, who can give you good advice and help you make good decisions. And that comes at a cost, but that cost needs to be thought of as an investment in your future success. And if you listen to the advice that you get and you act on the advice that you get, then the investment that you made will be more than paid back in the future. There's nothing worse than seeking advice from professionals and paying for that advice and then not acting on it. That's just called stupidity. So I would hope that you don't become one of those monkeys and you know, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, because if that's the case, then chances are you're going to make mistakes that you didn't need to. So hopefully that's been short and sweet today, but it's about investing in good advice. You know, you need to be prepared to do so to give yourself the best chance of success, and resisting the need for that will only hurt you financially and will only mean you've made mistakes that you don't need to make. So thanks for listening in today. If you want to take advantage of your mentoring, you know how to find us. All you got to do is you know, fire us an email or send us a text, whatever works best for you, and ask for a catch up, and we'll make the time available to give you some advice and help steer you in the right direction. So enjoy the rest of Magical Monday, and look forward to chatting to you again in the next Max Business Workshop. Ciao for now.